All right. Welcome, guys, to Sabs podcast. I'm your host, sabrinasalvati. My special guest tonight is Davi. He is a presidential candidate for 2024 who is seeking the nomination through the Green Party. What's going on, Davi? And thanks so much for joining me.
Get everyone together in miracle together. Greetings to you, Sabrina, and to you, humanity. We made it. We made it to the independent debut of this campaign. We made it to a presentation of a core solution and no more room for complaints, new conversations for new world.
All right. Let's go ahead and bring up your campaign plan here. So first and foremost, I want to say I think it's really great that there's more people this time around running as third-party candidates or independent candidates. I think this is the most I've seen so far, as long as I've been able to vote, as long as I can remember. But I want to bring up your site here because I know you want to go into your campaign plan. So for people who have not seen this is Davi's website, and it says click to read the full campaign plan. First and foremost, before we go into that, Davi, what does Avatar Davi? What do you mean by that?
So, just to reiterate, my name is Davi. You could think of it as Dahvee. I'm a music artist, a choreographer, a tech founder, and 2021 candidate for mayor of New York City, and avatar of Earth. So what does that mean? In 2020 in New York City, I vowed to ensure the sacred protection of humanity and Earth and the natural evolution. I am running to earn your vote in 2024 as the President of America and leader of the new free world, the free world we are defining. I am grounded. This campaign is, I don't know. Are you a nature person?
I guess you can say somewhat, I guess.
So you know how the birds, they know when to migrate and there's a big storm coming, they get out the way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is because they're connected to something called the magnetic field of Earth. And within that magnetic field, there's a ton of information, right? And in the core of our brain is something called the pineal gland. And it's being hardened by something called fluoride, which is in our toothpaste, is in our water. And so during pre-2020 and leading into 2020, I decalcified my pineal gland and I got access to a bunch of information. I just could understand a lot of information. And I just initially started typing it. I put it into a book called the Davi Manifesto. And I was really just trying to understand what was happening, because, there's a lot about our human history we just really don't understand and don't understand why we don't understand it, right? And so I wanted to make sure that I was giving myself the opportunity to allow whatever was coming to come. And my search has really been for truth. What truth can we land on? And I've always wanted my leader, whoever my leader would be, to have the truth sitting in their disposal. And so my quest really was about making sure that if I am going to, be able to put together these words, if they add up to the best plan for president in America, I have a responsibility at least to present it to America so that we might have the possibility of having the best plan possible. I am not doing this to rub my ego or anything like that in my own way, but I am doing it to acknowledge to the urgent need that we have right now to reintegrate with the natural order of Earth and reintegrate to what it means to have equality. So, we have always questioned, what is equality, right? But we have never actually sat down and figured out what the plan is. So I questioned when I was having these intuitions, what does that look like? And then this plan came. And so we can get into it. The core areas of focus are rehabilitation, providing healing-oriented support for those ailing in body, mind, or behavior, and finding harmony and balance between uses and contribution to Earth. The American Refresh, a 4-year transition where through PACE collective voting, Americans vote for the exact government we want moving forward, intentionally managing the growth of technology. And the mediator wing of the police, An immediate emergency mediator wing of the police that on demand mediates tough situations and conversations without the threat of batons or slow court dates. So the campaign is actually available in both Spanish and available to listen at Davi.com. What you're looking at right now is Earth Order. So the red and blue election after election have proven to the American voter that they have a brand of war and disaster. They have also got us to the point we are now. So it's not necessarily about just complaining about them, but understanding the limits of where we have gotten to. This doesn't seem to be working out for us anymore. So we need a new way of thinking about a functional society. And this Earth Order is a way for us to do that. Earth Order provides us the way to be able to vote for the exact government that we want moving forward. A new choice that provides equal salaries for chosen work. A new choice where all have access to quality housing. A new choice that covers all healthcare costs.
Okay, so it says the goal is to have humans agree to 12 points and 3 principles so that we may lead ourselves and grow in alignment with Earth, truth, and the true potential of our lives.
Right.
What do you mean by that?
So if you go back to the home page, you can click Earth Order and you can look at what those 12 points are. Do you want to do that or you want to stay in here? We can
go back to the home page of where it was before.
Yep. Just Davi for president. Boom. And then you're going to slide down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Slide down. Keep going. There you go, the Earth Order.
Okay.
And then you're going to slide down there, and we're going to go to those 12 points.
Right here. Okay. Right. Clean ordinance befits each person.
So before we get into this, I just want to give the context, right? So we often complain about the world, right? And the question is, right, if this doesn't work for us, what is the foundation? What is the standard that we have in our hearts and our DNA that is the point at which we are comparing our lived experiences to? So this is there's something called natural law. There's a whole bunch of attempts over, the hundreds of thousands of years that humanity has been in existence to give wording to what it looks like for us to accept our own humanity and accept each other's humanity.
Okay, so I'll just read these off for people. Clean ordinance befits each person. Each one holds truth. It says personal accountability and integrity are sacred practices. Blatant negativity is unnecessary. You know the difference. Choose the best humans in your personal opinion to mate with. This is not only in reference to physical appearance, but each mate in their entirety. Your choice shapes the future of humanity. Birth children or rear children with specific intention for their own success. No child can be subjected to any permanent trauma such as sex, labor, or violence prior to the age of 16. Be here now. Remain centered in oneself and allow conversation internally and externally to reflect how to make it better. I would feel better if ... I would feel better if and do. All drugs are legal. Rehabilitation for abusers is plentiful. Those who don't agree can be away from those who do. All Earth Order participants with agreements and locations with other laws and rules still abide those laws and rules as well. All weaponry is only used for food hunting in defense of Earth or humanity and for other non-human reasons. There is plenty for all. No human may intentionally kill another. So the one about the weapons. So would that mean that you would not be in favor of the Second Amendment?
In what way? So can your perspective on the Second Amendment, then I'll answer.
Well, just the right for for Americans to bear arms?
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what this is about. You should be able to defend yourself, right, in all ways possible. And if you have your weaponry, you can use it for food hunting as well. I really want to encourage us to think about a way for us to respect each other. You know, what is the kind of the basis? Because it's not necessarily all men are created equal, because that leaves out half the population, right? And so it's a way for us to start the conversation. I'm not saying this is it. I'm not saying this is where we stop. I'm just saying this is the beginning of a conversation that is ongoing, and we can have we can tweak it and make it better as we go along, make it adapt to the times that we need to. But let's have a starting point where we all feel safe enough to come to human-centered decisions, and not decisions based on any type of category or any type of corporation.
Okay, so one of the things I will say, like just immediately from like glancing at this, if I can make a recommendation, I would make your website as simple as possible, because most people, when they go to a campaign website, like for example, the Earth Order, this is not to say that the things that you're saying there aren't interesting, but the longer the topic, like the more text that you have, the less likely people are to read it, right? Because a lot of people have become accustomed to the character limit that we've learned from Twitter. So I said the same thing to Dr. West in the beginning. Like, I had recommended that you should just have bullet points, boom, 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 that people can just go to and read and take it all in, instead of having like an essay, because most people aren't going to sit down and read all of that. Just a recommendation.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, that was done in mind with those who actually enjoy reading a lot of information. What I'm doing is presenting something that is very large in magnitude, right? So it's a completely different perspective of looking at society. So I wanted to make sure that those who needed all those words had it. And then I'm going to do my best on the front page of the website to break it down to those three areas. And then in conversation, which is what most people, enjoy the most, I'll be able to bring in, the flavor and the things that people enjoy, to make that the bitterness of the new teaching, the new opportunity, a little bit better. But the fact of the matter is, we do need those words. I really appreciate your comments, but we do need those words. We need people to be specific and unapologetically say what is going to happen. I live in a city called New York City, where the mayor campaigned. I ran against the mayor, and he campaigned that in order to feel safe, you should hire personal security during his campaign, and that is absolutely true. He also campaigned on inviting more people via the sanctuary city rules. And so that's what happened. And he thought we would get more money. And people are making choices based on money rather than what is best for our humanity here. How can we get better, right? And how can we be specific so there's no question later on as to what happens?
So what type of policies do you support? Like, for example, the healthcare issue. Do you support like a universal healthcare for everyone in the country? Like, how do you feel about war? Like, are you anti-war, et cetera? And why specifically are you seeking the nomination through the Green Party?
Three. Okay. So first, let's do foreign policy. My foreign policy is that we need an internal policy before we can have an external policy. So right now, my focus is ensuring that within the boundaries of America and all the territories included, there is peace. That's a lot of work. So I'm going to focus on that part, and then we can talk about how we relate to other parties in other countries and other nations after we've established that. Because if we don't have that right, how are we going to navigate somebody else's or suggest that anybody else behave in any particular way?
But it is the job of the president. If you're president, the president is the commander in chief. So, right. For example, if you were elected in 2024, there is this conflict with Russia and Ukraine. You would have to be involved in decision making in reference to that, and possibly, if this continues, this conflict with Israel and Palestine as well. So you will have to make foreign policy decisions.
Absolutely. And I will be talking to each of the military generals to establish what the best process for the military drawback of each of those situations is, because the fact of the matter is there were UFOs and there were crafts from China flowing over South Carolina a couple months ago, and everybody seems to forget. If our borders aren't secure, then I'm not concerned about what's happening in other places. I'm making sure that the place that I am elected to take care of is being taken care of. On the Green Party, I'm seeking the Green Party's nomination because the Green, if you look at it in the larger scope, the red and the blue are corporate entities with corporate goals. As you've talked about on your show, the blue has already shown us that they do not believe in offering a fair electoral process. And so now this is a question of, okay, if the blue is not offering fairness, if the red is not even making their front runner run, then they're removing the reason that people are part of a party. And so all you have now is the Green Party that is the human-centered party that has human-centered ideals, offering candidates that are presenting human-centered goals. And so that's why I'm running for the Green Party. I've been involved. I was involved in Cynthia McKinney's campaign in 2008. I voted for Jill Stein in 2016. So I've been as much of an auxiliary member as possible. But I believe that the independent candidacy is definitely important to maintain, because in most of the states, as it stands, I'm still going to have to be an independent candidate. So both is the angle of the campaign right now.
What about immigration? Right now, there is, the issue with, there have been claims of hundreds and thousands of migrants coming through the border. How would you handle the immigration issue in this country?
Right. We say immigration issue, right? And that's I think that's the problem, right? What is the immigration flow that we as Americans think is correct? And then from that immigration flow number or parameters that we've agreed to, we then assess whether our borders are reflecting what we accept as our immigration flow. But I think randomly deciding that this year and next year and whatever time the immigration flow is too much, I'm confused as to what we said was the flow that is something that we think is correct. So that's what my work is going to be as a president, making sure that we have agreed to what the immigration flow is, and then we'll have the military in place to make sure that that immigration flow is correct.
What about healthcare?
So there's two parts of that. First is we have a medical complex that offers only Western options, right? And that's fine. People are welcome to choose, but there should be a holistic side. So organic and non-organic, right? This is the time we're in, the organic and non-organic time. So in the hospitals, part of my regulation as an executive order, I'm going to ensure that hospitals that are receiving federal funding are going to offer both holistic natural options for healing as well as Western healing. And then secondly, any person who decides to work in Earth Order, participate, either create their own business or work in a business that they agree to. P.S. The salary that we are going to agree to is going to be the happiness salary, whatever we agree the happiness salary is. And so the any medical costs will be covered by Earth Order. So whatever you deem as necessary for your medical care, that's what will be covered by Earth Order.
So I guess what I'm asking is to be a little bit more specific, would you remove private insurance in the U.S.? And in other words, would you go more towards a Medicare for all style of healthcare?
I don't want to. I want to make sure that when we're in the early days of the campaign, so I want to make sure that I don't conflate other people's work. Right. What I'm saying is Earth Order will cover medical costs. That is similar to Medicare for all. Yes, but the evaluation process will be different. I think that people should be able to decide what is healthcare for themselves, rather than having an insurance company deciding how they should be helped. So that's why.
What do you mean by evaluation process?
So insurance companies decide whether, this particular operation or this particular supplement is necessary for your health, based on their, whatever their guidelines are. And that's fine. But what I'm saying is, I think if you are a human and you are in the process of ongoingly discovering what your health looks like, then you should be able to dictate what your health looks like. And so I'm going to be basically removing that gate where the insurance decides which types of healthcare is worth covering.
So would you remove private insurance companies?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
So Earth Order is essentially going to be an opt-out of capitalism. Capitalism will continue to operate just as it has, and everybody will be able to, do what it needs to do. But Earth Order will be the protection of those who decide that they want to be part of an interdependability of humanity. And with that, we don't have a hierarchy of who's the trash man and who's the CEO and who is the person who takes care of the parks. Everybody's interdependent. And so therefore, we need to value each other as we are and let go of this, kind of arbitrary hierarchy of salaries that capitalism has given our professions.
But I don't think the salaries has anything to do with, I guess what I'm specifically asking is, would you make it so that every person in this country is allowed to have health care?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Every single person will be able to opt in to Earth Order. If they don't want to and they want to stay with their private insurance, that's fine too. It's just another option.
But Davi, see, I just asked you if you would remove private insurance companies and you said yes. And now you're saying that it's up to the individual.
No, I said they would stay. Okay. I said capitalism is going to continue to operate.
But let me finish, because so then you're not, I just asked you if everyone should have health care in this country, but yes. You're now saying that people will have the choice to opt in. And if they don't want to, they can keep their private insurance. So you're talking about a public option.
Right.
Okay. That's not the same thing as Medicare for all, though.
That's what I'm saying, right? So the Democrats and the Republicans, they've had their chance of languaging this. The way I'm languaging it is that humans will be able to choose how they are going to be taken care of for their health. Okay. It's just a language thing. I think we have the same intentions.
No, I think with the healthcare issue, I think what you just said there, that should be blatantly explained on your website, because people are going to ask these questions.
I'll totally take that. Yeah.
Just a suggestion.
Totally.
And yeah. I do want to pivot back really quick to the immigration issue. Again, specifically, what would you do if you were president right now? For example, Joe Biden is adding on to Donald Trump's border wall. What would you do right now as president in reference to the immigration situation?
You mean, right now, I'm post 2025. So to say that I would be dealing with these dynamics right now, or I don't know, it's just a bit different. But what I will say is that 2025 and beyond, we will have borders that are protected by the military. Whether that includes a border wall, whether it's built by that time or not, I can't judge that. But I'll make sure that we have protection for our borders and ensuring that the immigration flow, like I said, we agree to, is upheld. I'm not here to criminalize anybody for making choices for their families or their lives. What I am here to do is make sure that America the choice of America is being reflected in the reality of America.
But you do support a border wall.
I don't support a border wall because I don't support the interruption of the movement of animals between those spaces. But
no, Davi,
have to deal with.
Davi, you just said that if you were president during that time, if you need to have a border wall, you said it would also be protected by the military. So right. Do you support a border wall?
No.
Okay. So can I just a couple of recommendations? I think like these kind of questions, like people, these are the gimmies, right? Like immigration, healthcare, war, like whatever interview you do after this, people are going to ask, they're going to ask about those situations. So I
Is
think
there
that like
something that you didn't get from me when I responded to those? I mean, I understand your concern for now, right?
you flip-flopped. You seemed unsure. And as a candidate, like you should be 100% sure about where you stand on the issues. And that's why, like, I'm asking you the same questions that I've asked every other candidate that's come onto the show. And it seemed
Right.
like to me, when it came to the healthcare issue and when it came to the immigration issue, it seems like you're uncertain.
It's just I mean, I totally hear what you're saying. And what I tried to explain before is it's a languaging issue, right? And so we've been in a particular style of languaging particular policies. And what I'm saying is I'm in the process of relanguaging how my leadership will go. And I understand that you want to relate it to other things, but this is how I'm languaging my leadership.
But you have to language it in a way that the everyday average American is going to understand. So the everyday American is not going to want to hear that, well, it depends. I think animals should be free to move between spaces. If you were in a debate and they asked you when they said, do you support a border wall? You're going to have to be able to go yes or no and explain why.
But you were referring to what was going on right now, and I would have to make that assessment in 2025 and beyond, right? And so
No, you would make that assessment right now, and you would have a plan for the future because the immigration issue has been a problem in this country for a long time.
So
Like no other candidate has told me that. No other candidate has said, well, it depends. I would have to make that assessment then. You are a candidate right now, so you need
right.
to know, what would you do? How would you fix the immigration process?
I just told you my approach is military. It is not a border wall, right? I've said that numerous times throughout this meeting. But my core thing here is that I want to make sure that people get 9 points from me, right? Number one, sign up to the email list at buydavi.com. 2, sign up to volunteer. 3, donate. 4, share about Davi on social media. 5, attend the PPE in your state. We are putting together an independent presidential candidate tour. Wouldn't it be great to see your favorite independent presidential candidates, Dr. Cornel West, RFK Jr., and Dr. Shiva and Davi on tour, vying for your vote, vying for your leadership trust? Show up
All right.
and be there on buydavi.com.
All right, Davi. Thanks so much. You'll have to come back another time as well. I do have two guests waiting in the background, but thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.